Today we are adding and subtracting fractions and mixed numbers. So when we look at adding and subtracting fractions, the first thing we have to do is make sure that they have a common denominator. We've talked about how we cannot add thirds and fourths, we cannot subtract thirds and fourths, or sixths and eighths. They do have to be the same size pieces. So looking at our first example, we have 11/12 minus 7/12. Since those denominators are the same, we can just say if we have 11/12 and we take 7 of those away, we now have 4/12. Okay? We do always simplify our answers, so I'm going to simplify this by dividing both the numerator and denominator by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Okay, so 1/3 would be our final answer. Over here, letter B, I have 5/8 and 1/4. So when we find our common denominator, remember it's going to be the LCM of your two denominators here. So I'm looking for the LCM of 8 and 4, and the LCM of 8 and 4 is 8. So that's what I'll use as my common denominator. Okay, so that means I can leave 5/8 the way it is. Okay, 1/4, if you recall equivalent fractions. It's kind of like working a puzzle. I'm thinking, how do I get from 4 to 8? And we do that to the top as well. Okay, so we end up with 2/8. Okay, then if I have 5/8 and I add 2 more, I now have 7/8. Okay, go ahead and pause your video and try numbers 1 and 2 down here in the blue boxes. And then unpause to check your work. Okay, number 1, I had 1/5 and I added 3 more, so I had 4/5. Number 2, I used an least common denominator of 16, so 3/4 became 12/16. So 12 minus 5, 7/16. Okay, go ahead and turn this over. All right, we are going to look now what happens when we have mixed numbers. Okay, so the first step is to write each mixed number as an improper fraction. You could also do a little bit of regrouping, and I'm going to show you both options. Okay, I'm going to show you both options. Okay, so first of all, if I change them to mixed numbers, let's look at letter A. Okay, 1 and 2/5. I have 5 times 1, add the 2. So there's 7/5. Okay. 5 times 2 is 10, add the 4, 14/5. Okay, 7 plus 14, I have 21/5. And 5 goes into 21 4 times with 1 left over. So 4 and 1/5. Hey, there is another option with mixed numbers when adding. Okay, I can add straight across and do any regrouping where necessary. So I have 1 and 2. Okay, and then I have 2/5 plus 4/5. So now I'm going to have 6/5 here. Okay, but you'll notice I have an improper fraction here. So I'm going to take 1 whole away from here, put it into the 3. And since I took 1 whole away, 5/5, I have 1/5 left. Either method works as long as you show me your steps. So if you're struggling with the regrouping, you can always revert to writing them as improper fractions and adding that way. Okay, let's try the next one. So letter B, this one is subtraction. So let's change these to improper fractions. 3 times 3, there's 9, add the 2. We get 11/3. 9 times 1 is 9, add the 5. 14/9. Okay. I do not have a common denominator, so we need to change 11/3, so it has a 9 on the bottom. So there's 3 times 3. Let's go 11 times 3. So we end up with 33/9 minus 14/9. We subtract those. 9 goes into 19 twice, and you've got 1 left over. All right. Again, we can use some regrouping as well, if necessary. So if we look at this one, 3 2/3 minus 1 5/9, I'm going to go ahead and get my common denominator now. So I'm going to change 2/3 to 6/9 and rewrite it this way. Okay, so then 3 minus 1, there's 2. 6 minus 5, there's 1. And I didn't have to regroup for that one. 2 1/9. Okay, again, go ahead and pause your video. And you're going to do 3 and 4 down here at the bottom. You can choose either method. You can do both. You can do 1 on 3, 1 on 4. That's up to you. But go ahead and pause and try both of those, and then unpause to check your work. Okay, number 3, I've got both methods here. So here's my improper fractions. 19/8 minus 13/8. I got 6/8 and simplified. Okay, for the leaving them as mixed numbers, I changed 2 3/8 to 1 11/8. Okay, I could do 2 minus 1, but 3/8 minus 5/8, I'm not able to do that. So I regrouped, and I took 1 away from the 2 and added 1 whole here. So I took 1 from here and added 8/8. So it became 1 11/8. Then I was able to subtract. Number 4, here's my improper fractions. I got 31 over 12, 25 over 6. So I kept 31 over 12, but changed 25/6 to 50 over 12. 31 plus 50 is 81. Okay. 12 goes into 81 6 times with 9 left over, 6 3/4. Okay. Alternatively, you can use your mixed numbers. I kept 2 7/12 the same. Rewrote this as 4 2/12. So 2 plus 4, and 7/12 plus 2/12. 6 9/12. And then simplified.